Welcome to Break the Cycles podcast, the space where we rebuild the woman behind the titles. I'm your host, Alicia Cherie. I am so excited to be here today. This has been a long-awaited journey to fulfill. Creating this podcast wasn't just a decision. It was a calling, a divine nudge from spirit to step fully into my purpose and fulfill my dharma. So let me tell you how it all started. The calling came a few years ago, and at the time, I failed to answer out of fear and worry. I was so wrapped into my corporate career that I just listened, but I never obeyed. Then God literally said, "Okay, Alicia, you don't want to answer my calling, so I will force you to do so." Last August, I was wrongfully terminated from my employer. No warning, no write-up, not even put on a performance improvement plan, just straight terminated. Surely, I am not perfect. I made mistakes and I could have approached things differently. However, there was still no grounds to just terminate me. After 18 years of pouring my all into supporting the warfighter as a contractor for the Department of Defense with a clean record and being one of the best to lead, manage, and support weapon assemblage databases, coalition networks, systems on the F-22, F-18, and Huey helicopter. I've worked with the Navy, the Army, the Marines, and most recently, a Joint Force Command. I've led robust teams from system and network engineers to software coders and developers, and the list goes on, right? All of that, and then I was just pushed out. But here's the thing, the beautiful thing. I've been feeling myself pull away from this career since the first call, but I still failed to listen. Why? I didn't want to walk away from my norm, the job, the six-figure income, all the work I put into this career, the 3 degrees and all the certifications. But deep down in my soul, I knew I had to eventually. And every year, which then became every month, then week, then even down to the day, I just dreaded going to work. Have you ever felt that? Like where you just wake up and you're like, I don't want to do this today. I really don't want to do this today. It's very draining, right? And we have to do it because we have bills to pay and we have children and family to support. We feel stuck. We feel like we have no choice. And whether you feel that in your career or just even the environment you are in, or maybe even around the group of friends you hang with, you ever feel like your norm just doesn't align with who you became or where you're trying to go? Sometimes when we fail to answer our callings or ignore that nudge or that pull, God, Spirit, or the universe will then put things in place in our life that leave us with no choice but to finally answer that call. And that's exactly what happened to me. God said, "Okay, Alicia, it's time I strip it all away from you." So now I am here today on this podcast talking to you all. And I'm so grateful for my journey and how it played out the way it did. So this space is the manifestation of that calling, a reminder that when we answer the whispers of our soul, we not only heal ourselves, but also become vessels for the healing of others. So if you are that career-driven woman and or mommy, tired of wearing all the hats, tired of being someone you're not, staying in your norm out of fear and worry, I am here to tell you, sis, that is not it. And I'm not only here to tell you, but I'm here to show you there is another way. This podcast was born from my own healing journey, from the childhood wounds that shaped my identity to toxic relationships that mirrored my pain and to career burnout that forced me to face who I'd become. I had to learn the hard way and wasted years in toxic relationships, wasted years in a career that didn't align with my true self, and wasted years not even being mindful and understanding in motherhood. For years, I thought healing meant doing more, fixing, achieving, performing. But the truth is, healing begins when you stop running and start remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. We all carry stories from our past, whether it's patterns of people pleasing, perfectionism, or pain that began in our childhood. The things we observed growing up conditioned us to be who we are today. Do you ever feel like you are being someone you are not, or trying to fit in because you need validation, or trying to please people rather than your true self? Does that sound familiar? Because most of the time, a lot of us spend years being someone we're not meant to be. And that's what I did. Due to the way I saw love, due to the things I observed growing up and the environments and the people I was around, and trying to be accepted and validated. And unless we bring awareness to those things, those cycles will continue. But here's the thing, you're not broken. You're just being called back to yourself. And that's what Break the Cycles is about. Helping you heal your inner child, reconnect with your divine essence, and rise into your highest self and true divinity, the woman your soul was always destined to be. So, what is the why of my story? Well, it wasn't until I began to sit with my pain, to face the parts of me I used to hide or suppress. It was then that I realized my deepest wounds were actually my greatest teachers. The heartbreak, the pain, the grief, and the loss all shaped me to be here today with a framework to help you do the same. I lost the closest person to me, my best friend, and my mother from cancer. I then lost the next closest relationship in my life just 3 weeks later when I walked away from a 10-year marriage to a narcissist. The grief and loss just kept on giving, where I lost my grandfather, then my uncle, then two of my cousins, and then not to mention the family I had to cut off in between all those losses because they just weren't good for my soul and my journey and where I was trying to go. I was grieving not only the dead, but the living as well. And in the midst of healing my childhood trauma and still trying to show up to be the best parent to my children and leader in my career. For most of my life, I was living outside of my purpose and who my soul was created to be. I was following the path that looked right on paper, but not the one that lit up my spirit. I thought I was breaking cycles by being successful and making money to provide financial security for my children. I defined being loved through achievement and success, which is why I got 3 degrees and certification on top of certifications, and why I spent 18 years building my career with the Department of Defense. And I was good at what I did, but it didn't align with who I became. Healing my childhood trauma helped me see that every experience was divinely designed to lead me back to my purpose. I had to go back and relive those traumatic moments with my inner child and build trust with her to let her know she can stop protecting me and now trust my higher self. I had to stop pleasing people and stop protecting those who endured in my pain so I could tell my story without fear and come from a place of authenticity. I had to let go of all the things I made my norm, including my parenting ways, how I showed up in my career, and the relationships and friendships I attracted, and even letting go of family and relatives. They say blood is thicker than water. No, it's not. And that's okay. because what doesn't serve you must all go. And I began living in alignment with that truth, realizing my dharma and embracing my true divinity. Then everything shifted, and it's so beautiful and amazing. I could never go back. And that's the journey I want for you, to move from pain to purpose, from fear to freedom, from surviving to becoming. Because when you heal, you don't just change your life, you heal generations before and after you. All the generational patterns and cycles stop with you. They don't get passed down to your children and your children's children. This is where it ends. So, what you will experience here on this podcast. Well, first off, this is not just a podcast. This will be a healing community and a safe space to embark on your journey without fear and with lots of love and support. Each week, I will dive into the practices that have completely transformed my life and can do the same for you. We will go over things like healing your childhood trauma and reparenting your inner child, chakra alignment and energy balancing, releasing toxic patterns and emotional blocks, setting boundaries that protect your peace, integrating spiritual tools like meditation, journaling, Reiki, and other rituals and practices. And overall, we will discuss guiding you to awakening your highest self, to live in alignment with your dharma and true divinity, your soul's purpose. This will be a solo podcast until I grow and expand, as I am new to this space. However, I plan to eventually have guests come on and tell their story as well, how they broke cycles and how they transformed to their divine purpose. I'll be doing these podcasts in audio format to begin with, but eventually I will transition to video as well, so you can see my fabulous face and outfits. I'll be sharing one episode every week, each infused with guidance, love, and divine support to help you realign with your highest self. I'll always leave you with a takeaway, whether it's an affirmation, a journaling prompt, or a simple practice to help you integrate what we've talked about. This is your space to feel seen, understood, and guided. A sisterhood of women who are doing the inner work, breaking generational cycles, and choosing alignment over survival. So, here's my invitation to you, sis, where you can come as you are, bring your story, your scars, and your sacredness. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing to begin. This space is your reminder that you were never meant to just exist. You were created to expand. So let's begin this journey together, and I will walk you through it all. Together, we will break the cycles of fear, trauma, and self-abandonment, and rise into a life aligned with peace, power, and divine purpose. If this message resonates, make sure you follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode, because this is just the beginning. Until next time, remember, you are not behind. You are being divinely guided back to yourself. Keep choosing you, keep healing, and keep breaking the cycles. Sending you love and light always.